What is going on, guys? Winner Kills here. Welcome to a brand new pure Mekk Knight deck profile. Yes, pure Mekk Knight. No invoked, no other engines, just the Mekk Knight engine. Well, some other things, of course, are splashed in here other than Mekk Knights, but for the majority, pure Mekk Knight deck. I know a lot of times I do Mekk Knight things on the channel. It involves the invoked engine, so no invoked engine in here. Just a simple take on pure Mekk Knights. Going second, still able to go first. But primarily a going second deck. I got a main deck, an extra deck, and I also have the side deck that I've been using on stream lately up on one of my monitors over there. So I'll read that off when we get to the end. And as always, guys, don't forget to check out Imperium Duelist if you haven't already. They have amazing non-effect sleeves. If you're going to YCSs or regionals, highly recommend these non-effect sleeves. These great purple tournament pro series sleeves. They're incredible. I use them all the time. Use them on a ton of different decks. Actually just sleeve these up to date in the purple. Some of my absolute favorite sleeves of all time. And then if you want to play more casually and want to bling out the sleeves, we've got these Carnage Red Charm sleeves here. These nice effect sleeves. So if you're not going to any tournaments but still want to have your deck look all blinged out, sleeve-wise, I highly recommend checking out the effect sleeve as well. And this playmat here, you can also get this on their website as well. And everything on their website for 10% off with that discount code in the description. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the deck profile. And to start, we have triple Mekk Knight, purple Nightfall. So this guy is, I find in a lot of Mekk Knight builds, anytime I try to throw the Mekk Knight engine to anything, this guy is always at 3. Just because he just gets you a Mekk Knight, grabs your blue sky, which grabs you more Mekk Knights, and then he comes back in the standby phase. And he's also 2500 body, which is pretty relevant because he does help you get over a lot of things, and just a reoccurring searcher, so it's very nice. I don't like, speaking of just the Mekk Knight engine, like this is one of my favorite engines in the game currently. I just love splashing it into things, or just playing it in general. It's just such a fun engine to play. The whole concept of columns is really fun to work with. So triple purple Nightfall, and then 2 Mekk Knight Indigo Eclipse. This guy is like one of the heart and souls of the deck, I would say. Mainly because the fact that he moves columns helps set up tons of more Mekk Knight plays. So like if you have a column established already and you have another Mekk Knight in hand, you can summon this guy and move him over, and then you have that column open again to summon another Mekk Knight. Works very well with the trap card as well, which like, gives this deck such a strong going first play. Just having Morningstar with the trap card with this guy in your grave, or maybe another Mekk Knight on field already, can give you up to like 2 to 3 monster negations in a turn, depending on how your opponent plays out their turn and where they play their cards in certain columns. It's like playing chess with this deck. It's very fun. And this guy has great synergy with the Link 2 guy, Mekk Knight of the Morning Star, because it says that Mekk Knights can't be destroyed by battle, and you take no battle damage involving those from those attacks. So you can just use him to move the Link monster into any of the other main monster zones, just to avoid taking battle damage or losing one of your monsters to battle. Very helpful. Then we have 2 blue sky. This guy I just didn't want to play at 3. I know it's a pure Mekk Knight build, and maybe playing 3 seems like the way to go, but going first, this is the card you don't want to see. You just really want to see this going second, or search it, off of your purple Nightfall after you go first, so you have a follow-up going second. That's the one reason I really like playing the triple purple Nightfall. So it allows you, if you see it going first, you can basically use it to grab you whatever Mekk Knight you're going to need to either finish your play you're making or to set up for next turn. Because you can't make this guy live turn 1. I mean, you can still summon him, but you're just going to miss out on the searches. Then I play 1 red moon and 1 yellow star. I like having the option of playing, a monster removal and a backer removal in the main deck. I think it's versatile to be able to have, one of each. And then the last few Mekk Knights we're playing here are just 3 copies of Mekk Knight of Ram. Check this out. So basically, the normal summon in this deck doesn't really matter too much, and the fact that he's a normal monster is actually really cool, based on some of the other cards we're playing in the main deck and the extra deck that make this guy super useful. Like you can use the card we're playing, Unexpected Die, to bring him out, go into Link Spider, summon a purple Nightfall, go grab another one, and then special summon it underneath the Link Spider, and then go right into a Morningstar. You can just normal it for your normal summon and use it for Link material. It's a 2000 body. Like this card, it's a simple engine in the deck that allows you to do quite a few things. And I like the playstyle, but I know some engines don't play this. But I personally really like it. I would recommend at least trying out the Avram engine. So yeah, that's it for the Mekk Knights. Now we will go into the other monsters we're playing, which you might have guessed is Phantom Skyblaster. This guy fits very well with the deck, especially when going first. So if you open just these guys here, you normal the Skyblaster, get yourself a token into Link Spider summons this out, and then you link the Link Spider and the Avram right into Morningstar, and you already got your Link 2 set up. And you still have this guy on field to do whatever else you want. It's just really good. And this guy can help you go into Yugioh too, which I'm also playing in the extra deck. Just help draw into more combo pieces you might need, or just help swarm the field faster. It's also a dark because we're playing some chaos stuff in here too, so just the thing I like about this card though the most, despite all the other things it allows you to do, is a simple fact: gives you a token, gets you to Link Spider, gets you your Avram on board for free basically. Since you've already used your normal summon, it's like a pseudo Brilliant Fusion, I would say. If you open this in Avram, it's just very powerful play, in my opinion. I just hope that card doesn't get hit, because the main reason I took a break from Pure Mekk Knight was because they hit Brilliant Fusion to 1 and they banned Grinder Golem, and those are my go-to cards to sort of make this deck a little bit better than I had in the past, and those got hit, and so I had to go back to the drawing board to try to make mechs great again. And Phantom Skyblaster and some other cool tech ideas I've seen around the community help bring this deck to where it is now, and I hope Phantom Skyblaster doesn't get hit, at least not for a while. Then we have 2 Iron Dragon Timeton. This card I was a bit iffy on, but this card I couldn't love more, just because like anytime, basically its effect is anytime there are 3 or more cards in the same column, you can special summon this from your hand, and that's a quick effect. And then whatever column you special summon them into, every other card in that column gets destroyed, and also your opponent can't use anything in those columns, and same for you. So it locks out an entire column. So if you use it right and you set up a column over here of 3, you can special summon this over here and then completely lock your opponent out of that extra monster zone, and then forces them basically have to go into battle phase to try to remove this card or something, and they have to use a bunch of resources just to get rid of this to be able to go into the extra deck. And going second, you can just summon to the field, pile on some more damage. It comes out at 2k. It's also a dark monster for chaos plays as well. I just really like it. Helps that add to that whole like free special summon mechanic that Mekk Knights sort of play around. The next we have 2 Fairy Tale Luna. This is a card I also was sort of curious about playing in the main deck, and I actually decided to start playing it, and I really like it because it gives you sort of like an annoying card for your opponent to have to play around, because like I said, a lot of times going first you don't really ever use a normal summon. It might be an Avram, it might be a Phantom Skyblaster, but sometimes it's this card on top of your normal Mekk Knight setup with Morningstar and your Indigo and the Trap. And then you just have, your opponent just has to worry about having like a Compulse on their side of the field, per se. And it forces them to basically send the card, that same card from their hand or deck to the graveyard to negate this effect, or from the extra deck, I believe. So yeah, basically when it's summoned, you can add a spellcaster monster with 1850 attack from your deck, so you basically add the other copy. So it searches itself out, which is really nice, gives you another normal summon for next turn. And this says, once per turn during another player's turn, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Your opponent can send 1 card with that monster's name from their deck or extra deck to the graveyard to negate this effect, otherwise return both this card and that monster to the hand. So that might seem like a really easy thing to out, but a lot of times, since we're playing Call by the Grave in the main deck, I found that this is like a neat little play you can do. If they opt to basically dump that other card to the graveyard, you can just chain your Call by the Grave and it's getting negated anyways, and they're just left with a negated card, and it makes your Call by the Grave like live right then and there. And a lot of times this card easily bounces a lot of stuff back, like one-of cards that are going to play in the extra deck, like Summon Sorceress or any other one-of cards in the main deck or extra deck that they're playing. And it just forces them. It's another thing they have to worry about playing around too, which is nice. It's a cool card, cool engine. I like it in here at 2. You don't have to play it in here, but I'm opting to play it right now. You can play like Hand Traps or something, or other cards, or the Baby Dragons. I just like that as a normal summon though. I think right now I'm playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 normal summons, yeah, 3, 6, yeah, 8, not including Timeton. So I think 8's a good number. Then we have 2 Chaos Boss monsters here, 1 BLS and 1 Levianeer. I wanted to try playing 2 BLS, but I kind of like the Levianeer because A lot of times you don't have your darks in grave or your lights in grave or whatever it may be, depending on whatever setup you might have. And I like just having the option. I don't play that many dark targets in the main deck, but we do play a few in the extra deck that we can eventually get to the graveyard to make either of these cards live, like Thousand Eyes, Link Karibo, Underclock Taker, just to name a couple, and use them for basically banish fodder for these guys. And once you get these guys on the field with like a Boral Sword, the game's like pretty much over, especially when you're going second. There's very, very strong cards that you add to your already explosive fields. So that's it for the monsters. There should be 21 monsters. Now we'll go into the spells. To start off, we have triple unexpected die. So I'm playing 3 of these and 3 of Rom just because I pretty much always want the unexpected die to be live. Even if I draw into 2 of Rom, I still want this card to be live. You basically use it while you control the monster, especially on a level 4 lower normal monster from your deck. So you're basically going to just summon out of Rom for free, and then go right into a Link Spider, and then if you open up another of Rom, you just summon it to the field. And you already got 2 monsters on the field. You already got your Morning Star basically established without having to use your normal summon, and you can just go from there. And also, like, it's just another card to set face down to make a column with. That's another important thing about having like normal spells in this deck, and this type of deck, is like you can set them and then activate them that same turn, unlike quick plays and things like that. Then continue on this trend. Triple instant fusion, again for going first and for going second. Going second, obviously removal cards like Ragin and Thousand Eyes, but going first, it just gets out your Ragin or your Thousand Eyes to make a column to be able to summon a card like Purple Nightfall and then go into your Morning Star from there. So it helps extend your plays or just get plays going first. Triple Mind Control. This is a card I was playing at 2 for a little bit, but decided to go right to 3 because it's such a powerful card. Like, Mekk Knights themselves have a hard time breaking boards on their own, especially when having to go second, but this card just completely helps that out. Just steal so many things with this card, and it's not once per turn either, and then you can just link away whatever you take, or if you're going first, just set it face down, make yourself a column, and you're good to go with your Mekk Knights. Then we have 3 Called by the Grave. The only, like, you know, non-normal spell that I feel like we have to play at 3 is just your plays need to go through, so you play the Called by. The next we have 2 World Legacy Succession. This card I'm like a really big fan of lately. I decided to bump it up to 2 because it just gives you that security and safety of like linking things away to make a new link monster like Boral Sword or whatever, and then just be able to bring back one of those cards you may not have wanted to get rid of, just bring it back with the World Legacy Succession. It's like a pseudo monster reborn. Then we have 1 World Legacy Key. This card is nice because if you do banish one of your Mekk Knights, you can get it back off of this on the activation, and it also locks down a zone that has a trap in it. So if you're trying to go for an OTK and your opponent has like 1 or 2 stack cards, you can play this down in one of those zones. Or if you have like your extra monster zone, it's in that same column, and then like a an Indigo, you can just basically lock your traps down from your opponent to be able to stop you, and then you can just go through with the OTK. Then we have 1 World Legacy's Memory. It's a really good play starter. You can just tutor out your Purple Nightfall to get your search, and it does lock you to only Mekk Knights, but that's why I play it as a 1-of, just in case you need this card for whatever reason. Or it combos really well with the trap card we're playing, so like if you already have your Indigo use, you know that you summon out in the zone that originally gets summoned off of this, and then you move it to another zone, and then if your opponent has another monster, you can basically memory it out into that column it's in to get that 3rd negation, so this card's really good for that. Then lastly, 1 Monster Reborn, so basically putting like 3 Monster Reborns in the deck just to keep bringing things back and just keep making bigger link monsters and just keep putting more presence on the field and more damage. Very, very explosive playstyle, and I really like it. Then lastly, 2 World Legacy Secrets. Basically allows you to special summon a level 5 or higher monster from your graveyard, and when this card leaves the field, you destroy that monster, but it also says negate any opponent's monster effect that activates in the same column as a Mekk Knight. So that's probably the most important thing. There's also the trap card that does the same thing, but it negates spells that activate in the same column, and then Key is obviously for traps. Key negates traps that activate in the same column as a Mekk Knight, but this card is really, really good. And I was playing it at 1, but I bumped it up to 2, just because I wanted to see it more in my opening hand, just a little bit more, instead of having to rely to search it out. Because if I open this, then I can search out other extenders like Key or Succession instead. One card I was considering playing in the main deck was Pot of Desires. Right now, I'd probably cut maybe Monster Reborn and maybe Levianeer, or maybe a Called By for two Pot of Desires, but right now I think I'm okay without it. Keep in mind this is just a suggestion. I'm not saying like You shouldn't play it, but I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to play in here, so that's a little suggestion if you were thinking maybe, hey, what about Pot of Desires? I think it's probably a good idea, and I would recommend trying it out. I might actually try it out this weekend on stream. I just haven't tried it out, haven't like missed it, so never really crossed my mind to put it in the build in the first place, but I may in the future. So now for the extra deck, we have 1 star Yugioh, 1 Borreload, and 1 Boral Sword. These guys are pretty much self-explanatory. You don't have to play this card. It certainly helps, though, to put on damage. Borreload, I think, is a good option. This card isn't that expensive, and it's a very, very good card to be able to go into. Because a lot of times you want a really good Link 4 to go into with this deck. You don't want to just, especially when going second, you don't want to just like leave a Morning Star with just, you know, 2 Mekk Knights there, because that's not usually enough damage. Or an Underclock Taker. You want to be able to link those guys into the grave, put your Light and Dark in the grave for like a BLS or Levianeer, and then you want to be able to go into a bigger boss monster that can put on more damage, and then revive stuff out of the grave with like a Succession or Monster Reborn, and then your Chaos plays. So these guys are really good finishers for going second, but you don't have to play Sword, but I would at least try to get your hands on a Borreload, just at least. Saryuja, this card I would also recommend, although you don't really have to. I like this card a lot, though, strictly because I wasn't playing for the longest time, but then there'd be a lot of times where like I had a Link 4 play, but my hand wasn't that great, so I'm like, why don't I just throw in the Saryuja, especially since we're playing Phantom Skyblaster? Like, it just made so much more sense, and it can just summon cards out of your hand for free. Just a really solid card all around. And then we have 1 Mekk Knight Spectrum Supreme, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, and 1 Crusadia Equamax. This is actually a card that you could probably just substitute, you know, the Boral Sword Dragon completely for, because this card can boost itself up to really high attack. Granted, though, things that it points to cannot attack, so that could kind of you know, mess up your game plan. But keep in mind, if you have this card in Indigo, you can have Indigo right here. This gets bumped up to 44, and then after this attacks, you can just move the Indigo over to swing for another 24. So that's sort of one way you can get around that effect that it has. Spectrum Supreme, I wanted to play at least one of in here because the attack directly does come up sometimes. And the simple fact that you can make it, and then if it doesn't point to anything, it can be destroyed by battle or card effects. So that can be a little bit of a roadblock for your opponent to have to deal with sometimes. So do like that. Nightmare Unicorn, pretty self-explanatory, just removal cards. You could just play a Cerberus instead. Then we play 2 Morningstar. You're going to be making this card quite a bit, so I think 2 is a pretty decent number to be playing. 1 Phoenix, 1 Underclock Taker, 2 Link Spiders, because you're going to be making this card a lot also. And I also like Underclock Taker in here because I wanted just like a generic Link 2 that had a down arrow that wasn't like a Nightmare, obviously, because they don't have down arrows. And I just wanted a better, you know, generic Link 2 because we really didn't have any in the prior builds, so Underclock Taker fit really well, and it's also a dark monster, and it can drop something, you know, by a significant amount of attack, usually like one of your Mekk Knights like Blue Sky or Indigo. So yeah, Underclock Taker is a pretty strong card here for the extra deck. And then the last link we have here is Link Karibo, of course, to go with the Thousand Eyes Restrict that we play. Of course, one of our instant fusion targets, and lastly, 1 Invoked Ragin. So that's pretty much it for the extra deck and the main deck. The side deck that I have online right now is 3 Sphere Mode, 1 Scythe, 1 Artifact Scythe, 3 Twin Twister, 3 Artifact Sanctum, 3 Evenly Matched, and 2 Solemn Strike. So that's my current side deck for this deck that I have built online. I think it works pretty well. The Artifact Engine and the Strikes and everything, very, very good for going first. And then obviously the Twins, Evenlies, and Sphere Modes for going second all work very, very well in my opinion. So that's going to be it for this deck profile. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to see me play this deck live on stream or see any of the previous streams that I played this deck live on, check me out on Twitch. Should be a link to my Twitch down in the description. Toss me a follow there if you would be so kind to. You can check out some of the VODs where I test decks for like hours and stuff and chat, you know, hang out with chat. Very, very fun time. I highly recommend you guys checking out the Twitch channel if you haven't already. And big thanks to those who already have. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you didn't. As always, Winter Kill signing out. We'll see you in the next one.